All right, let me see here. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Your Honor.
Court court will begin with the March 24th, 2022 docket, and we're on live. We're on YouTube, and I have here F3468-21-4 in the interest of Ciara Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor, Gilbert Vasquez on behalf of the biological mother, Sarah Jo Hernandez, Your Honor.
Okay,
Good morning, Your Honor. Gregorio Treviño for Mr. Cedric L. Britton.
Cedric, that's the father.
Yes, Your Honor. Biologically dad.
All right. So we're set for temporary orders and a motion to compel.
Your Honor, we're set for a motion to enter the temporary orders. We were back here in January of 22, Your Honor, and it was agreed that we would get some temporary orders together. We pretty much agreed to everything on custody, visitation, blood work that has to be done as well. But the child support, there was a question because Mr. Britton is claiming that he's got a number of dependents. So we could not square away the child support. And so we still have not submitted any orders to you. I just received some discovery yesterday from Mr. Treviño, and I was looking at it. It indicates that right now, he should be paying $320 a month for the one child that we have at this point in time. So I don't have an issue with that right now until we prove what his actual wages were and are. So if this is what he's saying in his discovery, we'll go with a 320 right now, Greg. And back beginning when we filed this lawsuit back in July of 21. So if we can start getting it from August to the present to start getting that 320 a month, and that'd be great. That's what we're asking for, Judge. Just to enter the temporary orders we did that we.
Your Honor, he is.
Okay. Yes, sir, Greg.
That's correct, Your Honor. It would be based on temporary orders. We had talked about this earlier, as Mr. Vasquez has mentioned. What we'll do, Judge, is based on temporary orders. There is no medical support. My client is not insured, does not have access to private insurance. So we will do 50-50 on uncovered medicals. Well, we also have a second child, Your Honor, that we would like to address with respect to a paternity testing so that we can then address the issues when we come back at a later time and take care of.
Okay, so today we're temporary orders, and then at a later time we can take up the other issues. All right.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. And again, we already did this back in January, Your Honor. It was just a matter of solidifying them and submitting them to you. But right now I'm talking with you actually and Greg Treviño. And so we're okay with a 320. I'm just going to establish, Greg, the retro based on that 320 and then the current child support at 320. And then the other issue that I had was, of course, we have another child that was just born, Your Honor, a couple of months ago. So we'd like to do a blood test on that. And then we probably have to come back on that child and the child support once we determine whether it is his child or not. But I would just like a date that we could, get that done, Greg. I don't know when your client would be available to do that blood work, that DNA.
Well, why don't you get the results? And as soon as you get the results, we'll quickly come back.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just trying to get him. He would have to come down. I don't know if he'd have to come down here, I guess, or how we do the DNA, because he lives in Houston, I believe. And we live here in the Valley, Your Honor.
Right.
So how would we get
correct.
How would we get Cedric to do that, and when can we do that, Greg?
In the next 15 days?
Is that good, Greg?
That's fine. We could, if it's going to be a swab test, then it would have to be done here so we can have access to the child and then dad and all those involved. So it would have to be here.
Okay.
Your Honor, do you recommend an agency or judge, or do we look for one? Or
no, you'll look for one.
Okay.
Okay. Very well. We'll do that. We will look for an agency that here in the Valley. Gilbert, Mr. Vasquez, and I will get together on that, Judge.
So within 15 days, he will turn in a specimen to that laboratory or something. That'll be okay. Okay, and they will just wait for the results and give me send an order and we'll set it for hearing.
Yes, Your Honor. In the meantime, Your Honor, I'll go ahead, if Mr. Treviño doesn't mind, I'll go ahead and prepare the temporary orders with the with the child support, the retro amount, and the payments, and then I'll submit that to Greg to sign and send it back to you.
Right. Beginning August 1st, I believe you said.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. And then the only other thing we have is the motion to compel, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that Mr. Trevino submitted discovery to me yesterday, but I noticed there's some objections there. We submitted this discovery to Mr. Trevino in December of 21, Your Honor. We just got the responses on March the 22nd and I believe the 23rd, Your Honor. So I'm asking that you remove his objections from there.
Yeah, the objections are based on a couple of questions having to do with divorce. And so I objected on it because this is not a divorce, it's only child support. There's only 3 objections out of 60 some questions that we responded to. So if they're not based on the divorce, then we would redraft those and not object to it. But I believe that it has to do with divorce and property and this, that, and the other. And there's none of that here because there's no divorce. There's no.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was the reason for the objections, if you'll notice.
Okay, so for example, I'm looking at the discovery. It's our interrogatories we submitted to you. It's interrogatory number 5. You indicate that you object. I mean, first of all, it doesn't matter whether you think it's irrelevant or not, but that is waived. But it has to do, what we're trying to get at is determining a amount of money that he may have or not have, or even property, so that we can determine child support. Because child support can be based on property that you own. So I'm trying to figure out if his current wife owns some of it or if it's separate property. That way we can determine what the child support amount could be. So that's why I asked that question, Mr. Trevino.
On number 5?
Yes, on number 5. It's not, it does ask for separate and community property, but the reason, like I said, is because we are trying to determine child support.
Okay.
We can base it on property.
All right, determine child support. Okay.
Yes. So if there are any other objections like that, I mean, I can look at them and then, so I guess, Your Honor, what I'll do is like that one, I mean, I'll talk to Greg some more, and then if we have to come back on the other case, then I'll re-urge this motion.
Okay, so for right now, we'll leave him alone. We'll reserve later.
No problem.
Consideration.
Yes, we'll stock it out.
Okay. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
I have nothing further, Your Honor, on behalf of Ms. Hernandez.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Judge.
Have a great day and stay safe. Okay, guys?
Likewise.
Likewise, Judge.
All right.
Bye,
Thank
Judge.
you.
I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch.